Hi, Mr. Harmon. I'm Katie. I will be your nurse for today. How are you doing?
Doing all right, Katie. How are you doing?
I am well. It looks here like you did an assessment for chronic sorrow.
Yeah, the doctor explained something to me about that, but I didn't really fully understand him.
Yeah. Chronic sorrow is usually happens after a grief experience, and it's ongoing. A lot of times people think that grief is resolved within 2 years or so, but it generally chronic sorrow informs us that grief is actually can be pervasive, permanent, and periodic.
What's pervasive?
That means like it's overwhelming. You
Oh.
experience the grief as if it happened yesterday.
Oh,
Do you ever have that experience?
yeah. When I lost my Maddie about 5 years ago, and we've been married for a while, and I lost her. It's been rough. She was my rock.
So does it ever feel like it just sort of fresh, like it just happened all over
All the
again?
time.
Yeah.
Every time I do anything or see her picture in the living room, sometimes
Mhm.
it hits me.
And what I want you to understand is that that is completely normal. Just because it happened 5 years ago doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you because you're still experiencing pervasive periods of grief now.
Yeah, my kids tell me that I should move on. They're like, Daddy, it's been 5 years. It's time to move on. I'm like, I don't want to. I miss her. I don't want to go dating. I don't want to, do things like that would take away her memory.
And that's understandable. Is there anything that you do when you're feeling this grief or when you're feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah, I go for a walk and work outside some. I'm really outdoorsy. I like the outdoors. We were outdoorsy. We did a lot of, we'd go hiking and we would work in the garden, take long walks. We'd do all those things.
Do you still garden? Have you kept up with that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Maddie, she loved to plant her flowers, and so every year I plant the flowers that she loves.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
It might be helpful to try and do some of those activities in a group, like maybe getting involved with your community, gardening group or something along those lines so that you can get out and enjoy those things with other people again. When you go for walks or when you work outside, does that help?
Sometimes, when I go for the walk, sometimes it helps, but sometimes it just makes me think of her more. And when I always plant her flowers and stuff, it always brings back memories. It makes me cry, and I do my best, and then, and I keep moving forward.
Well, that's great. It's a great strategy to sort of take one day at a time. It's completely normal that you will be overwhelmed at times and that you're still crying and that you're still feeling these feelings. But it's also important to sort of move, take one day at a time and try to get involved, like bring in more support from your family or friends. Do you have someone that you call if you're feeling overwhelmed or?
I call my boy Richard, talk to him, and he talks to me, but he still tells me that I need to move on, and I get angry with him.
Cool.
I still love him.
If you're finding that isn't as effective when you're overwhelmed, there are, numerous counselors, grief counselors that specialize in this kind of thing, and that might be a better outlet to
Wow.
have someone that's available for you that is experienced in these issues, and that maybe would be a better way to deal with some of that anger.
I've never been to a counselor before, really. It's just like us talking is really the first time. My kids try to talk to me a lot. When Maddie died, I didn't want to talk. So, I don't really know how that goes.
It's very simple. I can give you some information, some phone numbers to call. You make an appointment,
Mm-hmm.
and they're people that are experienced in helping people deal with grief, face grief. come up with different strategies for handling situations that might be difficult. I understand you were in the hospital recently.
Yeah, I had a cardiac cath. It hit me sudden, and I had to go straight into the hospital. And it was really difficult for me because she wasn't there. And like I said, you know, she always took care of these things for me. She was always there, made sure that I had my pajamas and my clothes were set out for me for the next morning and all that. And she wasn't there. And I mean, it's difficult for me.
That's understandable. Maybe in the future, if something like that comes up, or there's an event that you know is going to bring up her absence, you can plan ahead and maybe have a strategy in mind for having one of your children come with you, or just knowing in advance that that's something that you're probably going to face, so that you aren't caught off guard and overwhelmed by it. Are there any other times where you feel particularly overwhelmed or grief-stricken?
Well, it comes and goes. You know, I mean, just it could be anything small. You know, just going by and just sitting down drinking a cup of coffee in the morning. And, I'm by myself. And it hits me. Or sometimes I could be out to eat with my boys, and we're there, and she's just not with us, and she's missing the family, and that's tough for me, because we're a real big family of people.
Well, that's great that you still got your kids around.
Yeah, I got several grandkids, and they come over some, but not a whole lot, because everybody gets older, they have their jobs, they don't get to come over as much, and I don't want to feel like I'm getting in the way or anything, so they just tell me when they're going to come over, and I say, okay.
Another type of support that you might find useful would be a support group for people that have had loss, or that have lost a spouse. They range in, loss from someone that just lost someone to someone that lost someone, decades ago. And that might be, it's a little more low-key than going to a counselor. If you could just go and listen and maybe learn from how other people have dealt with it, or just even being around people that understand.
I've never done that either.
Yeah.
How that just that in the yellow pages?
Yeah, there's some in the yellow pages, but I'll also write down some contact information for you.
Oh, okay. So
that might be a good outlet.
Okay. You've been to any of these?
I have been to support groups before, and generally people find them very encouraging, validating to their own experience. And since you've had this loss and you're going through it, and it sounds like you're dealing with it kind of on your own, that you occasionally reach out to your kids for help, but that's not always successful, and that you still enjoy doing activities that you and your wife enjoy, but you're doing them on your own, you're doing them alone. This might be a good way to reach out and sort of find some more support group that can help you move through this and help you deal with this. It's something that you'll probably face for the rest of your life, So that would be a good way for you to face the fact that you're always going to be dealing with this grief, and also move through it a little bit and plan for it.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
No, you explained it a lot better than our doctor did.
Oh, thank you. If you need anything, and you can always give us a call, and we'll give you some information.
Are you going to give me those numbers and everything?
I will.